Good day, everyone. This is Teacher Cherry. In this video, we will learn about trigonometric ratios of special angles. We will find the trigonometric ratios of special angles. Yung special angles natin ay 30 degrees, 45 degrees, at 60 degrees. Bago tayo dumako sa ating topic na trigonometric ratios of special angles, balikan muna natin yung mnemonics na ginagamit to remember the equations. The first mnemonic is the SOHCAHTOA. So stands for sin theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. Yung ka stands for cosine theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. TOA stands for tangent theta equals opposite over adjacent. Yung second mnemonic na ginagamit natin is the CHO. CHO stands for inverse ng sin theta, which is the cosecant theta, equals hypotenuse over opposite. Siya stands for secant theta equals hypotenuse over adjacent. Ito naman yung inverse ng cosine theta. COW stands for cotangent theta equals adjacent over opposite. Tangent theta, ang inverse function niya is the cotangent theta. Let us now proceed to our topic, trigonometric ratios of special angles. To find the trigonometric ratios of special angle 30 degrees, we will use the 30, 60, 90 triangle. This is our figure. We have triangle A, B, C at right angle C. Angle A measures 30 degrees. Angle B measures 60 degrees. The side opposite angle A measures 1 unit. The side opposite ng 60 degrees measures square root of 3. At yung side na opposite ng ating right angle or 90 degrees measures 2 units. Gagamitin natin itong mga lengths or measures ng mga sides para makuha yung 6 trigonometric ratios. Gagamitin pa rin natin yung mga mnemonics. Okay, so we will first find the 6 trigonometric ratios of special angle 30 degrees. So iisa-isahin natin. The first mnemonic is the SOHCAHTOA. Para makuha yung sin 30 degrees, gagamitin natin yung opposite over hypotenuse. This is our reference angle, 30 degrees. Ang opposite side measures 1 at ang hypotenuse measures 2. Therefore, the ratio of sin 30 degrees equals 1/2 or 1:2. Next is the cosine 30 degrees. So, with respect to our theta or 30 degrees, para makuha ang cosine 30 degrees, gagamitin natin yung ka, which is adjacent over hypotenuse. Ang adjacent side or yung malapit na side measures square root of 3. Then, our hypotenuse is 2. Therefore, cosine 30 degrees equals square root of 3 over 2. Next is tangent 30 degrees. This is our theta or angle 30 degrees. Para makuha yung tangent 30 degrees, gagamitin natin ang tangent 30 degrees equals opposite over adjacent. With respect to our angle 30 degrees, ang opposite side measures 1 at ang adjacent side measures square root of 3. Therefore, our ratio is 1 over square root of 3. Bawal ang merong radical symbol sa denominator, kaya i-rationalize natin. We will multiply square root of 3 over square root of 3. And then simplify. We have 1 times square root of 3 is square root of 3 over square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9 equals 3. Therefore, the ratio is square root of 3 over 3. Let's proceed to cosecant 30 degrees. This is the inverse of sine 30 degrees. So, pagbabalik rin lang natin yung opposite over hypotenuse. Cosecant 30 degrees is equal to hypotenuse over opposite. So, pwede din natin gamitin yung mnemonics na cho shakaw. Cho stands for cosecant 30 degrees equals hypotenuse over opposite. This is our 30 degrees. What is the measure of hypotenuse? 2. Ang opposite side measures 1. Therefore, we have the ratio 2:1 or simply 2. Next is secant 30 degrees. This is the inverse of cosine 30 degrees. Or siya, secant 30 degrees equals hypotenuse over adjacent. Hypotenuse measures 2 and adjacent side is square root of 3. Therefore, we have 2 over square root of 3. We will rationalize kasi meron tayong radical symbol sa denominator. We will multiply by square root of 3 over square root of 3. 2 times square root of 3 is 2 square root of 3. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is equal to 3. Therefore, our ratio is 2 square root of 3 over 3. The last ratio is the cotangent. Cotangent 30 degrees is the inverse of tangent 30 degrees. Or COW. COW stands for cotangent equals adjacent over opposite. With respect to 30 degrees, adjacent side measures square root of 3. Ang opposite naman measures 1. Therefore, the ratio is square root of 3 over 1. Or simplify, that is equal to square root of 3. Yan, nakuha na natin yung 6 trigonometric ratios ng special angle na 30 degrees. Next, we will find the trigonometric ratios of special angle 60 degrees. We will use again the 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. This is our figure. Hahanapin natin yung 6 trigonometric ratios ng special angle na 60 degrees. Ayan, so we will find sine 60 degrees, cosine 60 degrees, tangent 60 degrees, cosecant 60 degrees, secant 60 degrees, and cotangent 60 degrees. Gagamitin pa rin natin yung mnemonic para mas mabilis nating makuha ang trigonometric ratios. So, katawa, para mahanap ang sine 60 degrees, it is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So, this is our reference angle, 60 degrees. Ang opposite side measures square root of 3 and hypotenuse measures 2. Therefore, our ratio is square root of 3 over 2. Para naman sa cosine 60 degrees, we will use K. K stands for cosine 60 degrees equals adjacent over hypotenuse. This is our reference angle. Ang adjacent side measures 1. Ang hypotenuse measures 2. Therefore, the ratio is 1:2 or 1/2. Next is tangent 60 degrees. We will use TOA. TOA stands for tangent 60 degrees equals opposite over adjacent. This is our angle. Opposite side measures square root of 3 And then adjacent side measures 1. Therefore, the ratio is square root of 3 over 1, or simplify, equals square root of 3. Para naman sa ating next 3 ratios, gagamitin naman natin ang Choshakow. For cosecant 60 degrees, that is hypotenuse over opposite. Ang hypotenuse ay measures 2 and opposite side measures square root of 3. Therefore, the ratio is 2 over square root of 3. Ayan, mayroon ulit tayong radical symbol sa denominator. Kaya, irarationalize natin. Multiply by square root of 3 over square root of 3. Kung ano yung minultiply sa numerator, yun din yung imumultiply sa denominator. Then, let's perform the operation. 2 times square root of 3 is 2 square root of 3. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9 or 3. Therefore, the ratio is 2 square root of 3 over 3. Next is secant 60 degrees. Ito naman ay siya, or secant 60 degrees equals hypotenuse over adjacent, or ito yung inverse ng cosine 60 degrees. Pinagpalit lang natin yung adjacent tsaka hypotenuse. Okay, so kung 1 is to 2 ito, therefore, secant 60 is 2 over 1. Or 2 divided by 1 is equal to 2. The last ratio is cotangent 60 degrees. We will use cow. Cotangent 60 degrees equals adjacent over opposite. Or pinagbaliktad natin, kinuha natin ang inverse ng tangent 60 degrees, adjacent over opposite. Ang adjacent, this is our angle, 60 degrees. Adjacent side measures 1 and opposite measures square root of 3. Therefore, the ratio is 1 over square root of 3. Or pinagbaliktad natin itong tangent 60 degrees. Meron pa rin tayong radical symbol. So, we will multiply by square root of 3 over square root of 3. 1 times square root of 3 is square root of 3. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is equal to 3. Therefore, cotangent 60 degrees is square root of 3 over 3. Yan. Next naman is the special angle 45 degrees. Gagamit naman tayo ng ibang triangle. Let's find the trigonometric ratios of special angle 45 degrees. Gagamit tayo ng 45, 45, 90 degree triangle. This is the figure. We have triangle ABC at right angle C. Angle A measures 45 degrees. Angle B measures 45 degrees. Angle C is 90 degrees. Ang side na opposite ng angle A measures 1. Ang side na opposite ng angle B measures 1 also. And then, yung side opposite ng ating right angle, which is the hypotenuse, measures square root of 2. We will now find the 6 trigonometric ratios of special angle 45 degrees. Para dito sa first 3 functions, gagamit tayo ng SOHCAHTOA. Sin 45 degrees equals opposite over hypotenuse. That is SO. So, kahit alin dito, pwede nating gamiting reference angle. Pwedeng angle A or angle B. Try natin ang angle A. What is the opposite side? That is line segment BC measures 1. And hypotenuse measures square root of 2. Okay, try natin yung angle B. Angle B is 45 degrees. Yung opposite side niya is AC, measures 1. And then, ang hypotenuse is square root of 2. So, parehas lang. Ang ating ratio is 1 over square root of 2. We will rationalize because there is a radical symbol in the denominator. multiply natin sa square root of 2 over square root of 2. Let's multiply first the numerator. 1 times square root of 2 is square root of 2. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4 equals 2. Therefore, the ratio is square root of 2 over 2. That is the value of sine 45 degrees. Let's proceed to cosine 45 degrees. Ka stands for cosine 45 degrees equals adjacent over hypotenuse. This is our 45 degrees reference angle. Ang adjacent measures 1 and then hypotenuse measures square root of 2. Therefore, our ratio is 1 over square root of 2. So, parehas lang kanina sa sine 45. Ira-rationalize natin, multiply natin by square root of 2 over square root of 2. The same din ang ating makukuha. 1 times square root of 2 is square root of 2. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. So, ang value ng sine 45 at cosine 45 is the same. Next is tangent 45 degrees. We will use TOA. TOA stands for opposite over adjacent. So, gamitin natin tong angle B as reference angle. Opposite side is 1. Adjacent side is 1. Therefore, our ratio is 1:1 or 1 over 1 equals 1. Pwede din natin itry sa angle A. This is our reference angle. Opposite side measures 1. Adjacent side measures 1. So, 1:1 then or simply 1. For the next three functions, gagamitin natin ang Cho-Sha-Kao. For cos secant 45 degrees, we will use Cho. Cho stands for cos secant 45 degrees equals hypotenuse over opposite. Okay, so this is our reference angle. Hypotenuse measures square root of 2. Opposite side measures 1. Therefore, we have square root of 2 over 1 or equals square root of 2. Pwede naman natin gamitin itong sine 45 degrees. Kunin lang natin yung kanyang reciprocal. Next is secant 45 degrees. Gagamitin natin yung siya or pwede rin natin kunin yung inverse ng cosine 45. So, that is equal to hypotenuse over adjacent siya. Hypotenuse over adjacent. So, what is the measure of the hypotenuse? That is square root of 2. Adjacent side is 1. We have square root of 2 over 1 or simply square root of 2. Parehas ang value ng ating cosecant 45 degrees at saka secant 45 degrees. For the last ratio, cotangent 45 degrees, we will use Kao adjacent over opposite. Or, yung inverse nito, adjacent over opposite, 1 over 1. So, yun din yung magiging ratio natin or simply 1. Let's check dito sa ating figure. This is our reference angle. Adjacent is 1, opposite is 1. So, 1:1 equals 1. Ayan. So, nakuha na natin yung mga trigonometric ratios ng special angles na 30 degrees, 60 degrees, at 45 degrees. Ililipat natin ngayon sa isang table para mas madali nating makita. Okay, so these are the trigonometric ratios of special angles. Our special angles are 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and 60 degrees. So, ito yung ating sinolve kanina. We get the trigonometric ratios of special angle 30 degrees. So, ito lahat yon. And then, 60 degrees, ito din yon. And 45 degrees, these are the trigonometric ratios. Kung mapapansin natin sa ating table, ang sine 30 degrees at cosine 60 degrees ay the same, 1/2. Another, cosine 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2, while sine 60 degrees is square root of 3 over 2 also. Makikita rin natin na ang tangent 30 degrees measures square root of 3 over 3. Ganon din yung ating cotangent 60 degrees, square root of 3 over 3. For cosecant 30 degrees, the same siya dito sa ating secant 60 degrees. And yung secant 30 degrees, 2 square root of 3 over 3 ay the same sa ating cosecant 60 degrees. 2 square root of 3 over 3. Kaya, kahit itong trigonometric ratios ng special angle na 30 degrees ang ating isa sa ulo, malalaman na rin natin yung trigonometric ratios ng special angle na 60 degrees. For special angle 45 degrees, madali lang nating matatandaan. Ang sine 45 degrees and cosine 45 degrees ay the same, na square root of 2 over 2. Meanwhile, ang cosecant 45 degrees and secant 45 degrees ay parehas na square root of 2. And lastly, tangent 45 degrees and cotangent 45 degrees, ang ratio nila ay parehas na 1. So, madali lang natin siyang maisa sa ulo. Let us now apply these concepts in simplifying expressions. For number 1, we have secant 30 degrees plus cotangent 60 degrees. Para makuha natin or masimplify natin ang expression na to, babalikan natin yung ating table. So, ang given is secant 30 degrees. So, hahanapin natin dito sa ating table. Secant 30 degrees is 2 square root of 3 over 3. Plus, cotangent 60 degrees, hahanapin natin dito sa ating table, cotangent 60 degrees. So, ito ang ating kukunin, square root of 3 over 3. Kukunin natin ang kanilang sum, isusulat natin as 2 square root of 3 over 3, that is the secant 30 degrees, plus cotangent 60 degrees is square root of 3 over 3. Double check natin. So, tama. Then, let's perform the operation addition. So, makikita natin na the same ang kanilang denominator. So, similar fractions. Add natin yung numerator. 2 square root of 3 plus square root of 3 is 3 square root of 3. So, meron tayong 1 dito. 2 plus 1 is 3. Copy natin yung the same terms. We have 3 square root of 3 over, we copied the same denominator. So, we have 3 square root of 3 over 3. Pwede pa nating isimplify. Cancel natin ang 3 sa numerator and 3 sa denominator because that is equal to 1. Ang maiwan na lang is square root of 3. Therefore, this square root of 3 is the simplified form of secant 30 degrees plus cotangent 60 degrees. Let's have the second example. For our second example, we have sine squared 30 degrees plus cosine squared 45 degrees. So, meron tayong square dito. Ang ibig sabihin, i-square natin yung sine 30 degrees plus i-square din natin yung cosine 45 degrees. Let's use the table for the trigonometric ratios of special angles. Okay, so isusulat natin ang sine squared 30 degrees as the square of sine 30 degrees plus ang cosine squared 45 degrees ay equivalent sa cosine 45 degrees squared. Then, substitute lang natin yung values ng sine 30 at saka cosine 45 degrees. Ang sine 30 degrees is 1/2. Ang cosine 45 is square root of 2 over 2. Therefore, we have 1/2 squared. So, wag kalilimutan yung squared. plus, ang cosine 45 ay square root of 2 over 2 squared. Then, perform the operation. Bago yon, kunin muna natin yung square ng 1/2. 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. Plus, square ng square root of 2 over 2. Square root of 2 squared or square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4 or 2. Then, square din natin yung 2. 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. Then, the same denominator, parehas ang kanilang denominator, the same fraction. I-add natin yung numerator, then copy the denominator. 1 plus 2 is 3, and then denominator is 4. So, the answer is 3/4 or 3:4. Let's proceed to example 3. We have the square of the sum of sine 60 degrees and cosine 30 degrees. So, kunin muna natin yung value ng sine 60 degrees and cosine 30 degrees dito sa ating table. Sine 60 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. Cosine 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. So, parehas lang yung dalawang ratio. So, we have the square of 3 over 2 plus square root of 3 over 2. Pag-adin muna natin itong nasa loob ng parenthesis. The same denominator, we will add the numerator and then copy the denominator. Square root of 3 plus square root of 3 is equal to 2 square root of 3. So, the same yung square root of 3. Pag-adin natin yung numerical coefficient na 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, copy square root of 3, over the same denominator, 2. Then, simplify. So, we have 2 over 2, makakancel, that is equal to 1. Multiply natin sa square root of 3. So, ang may iwan is square root of 3. And then, meron tayong squared. Square of 3, square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9. Simplify, square root of 9 is 3. Therefore, this is the simplified form of the square of sine 60 degrees plus cosine 30 degrees. Let's have the fourth example. Simplify the expression, the square of twice cosine 30 degrees. So, meron tayong 2 doon. Imumultiply natin sa 2 yung value ng cosine 30 degrees and then i-squared natin. Okay, so this is the table of the trigonometric ratios of special angles. So, tignan natin dito kung anong value ng cosine 30 degrees. That is square root of 3 over 2. Therefore, we have 2 times square root of 3 over 2, then i-squared natin. 2 times square root of 3 over 2, that is equal to square root of 3. So, na-cancel na yung 2. Ang naiwan na lang is square root of 3. And then, i-squared natin. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9. And then simplify, square root of 9 is equal to 3. This is the simplified form or the exact value. For our last example, number 5, simplify the expression twice sine squared 30 degrees. So, i-square muna natin yung sine 30 degrees, tsaka natin siya i-multiply sa 2. Tignan natin sa table ano ang value ng sine 30 degrees. That is 1/2. So, we have 2 times the square of sine 30 equals 2 times the square of 1/2. So, i-square muna natin yung 1/2. 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. 2 times 1/4. So, 2 times 1/4 is 2 over 4. Simplify natin. 2 over 4 or that is 1/2. Okay, so ganun mag-simplify ng expression or mag-determine ng exact value ng expression. Okay, that's the end of our tutorial. Before I end this video, I would like to share a simple quotation. The man who makes no mistakes does not normally make anything. Thank you so much. Keep safe and have a great day. Bye-bye!